All right, you can kick it on over.
All right.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Star Wars Time Show's D&D special, Scoundrels of the New Republic. We're finally back. The crew is back together. The crew of the Bandit 3, as we've been established now. And to catch everybody up on where we last left off, the crew was able to successfully save Crepo, the Toydarian Slicer, from the salvage yard run by the Niktos in the Bomar Flats. They made their way all the way back across the flats to their ship in the hopes that Crepo could simply just walk on, change the transponder codes, and they would be good. But as soon as they got to the ship, they found that they were being raided by a couple of Nikto gang members. In order to stop them, the crew ran down the dunes, confronted their thieves, took them out in short order. Crepo was then able to change the transponder codes of the stolen Black Sun ship to the Bandit 3. They then pulled the ship into the proper Mos Eisley docking bay area, met up with their contact, Rayla Grush, who gave them a new mission to go on, which was to head off and steal medical supplies that were being transported from the MOS ESPA spaceport to the castle now occupied by Bib Fortuna. Our heroes hopped on a shuttle taking them from Anchorhead to MOS ESPA, and that's where we left off. So we're going to get right back into things. Crew of the Bandit 3 on the shuttle taking them from Anchorhead to MOS ESPA. It's hot here. This is Tatooine. It's a very hot and arid environment. You guys have been here for a few days now. In Matlu especially, you're starting to really get worn down by this heat. You're a being.
And stink a little bit too.
The fur is getting a little matted. The sweat is starting to really cake into all of the fur. Matlu, you being an Ewok are from you're from Endor. You've been banished from Endor. How are you feeling now that you're in this environment? Obviously can't go back to Endor, and you're stuck out in a galaxy that has really not been designed for you to thrive in.
No. Matlu always loved green canopies of Endor, but Matlu bad, be banished, enjoying space with partner Surt Durkist. Zavu starting to grow on Matlu, but I do miss my furry friends of Endor.
He does a little better with shade.
Matlu, smelly bear right now. Need spice and shower.
Well, there's always spice for you guys now within the ship. So, knowing that...
Sir, give me a bump. I'm headed to showers.
I already locked it up. I locked it up for the night.
Too early, I remember.
Yeah, I'm assuming we have showers on the ship, right? Like we were...
On the ship, you guys do have refresher stations in each of your individual rooms. So when you guys make it back to the ship, you can definitely shower up, clean up. It's a very nice ship. Each of you have your own room. Each of you have your own refresher station.
Yeah, first privacy in years.
Time is of the essence here. The shipment that Rayla told you about is coming in quickly. There was no time for downtime. You guys can sleep on the shuttle.
Did we do anything to secure the ship?
It is properly docked at the Mos Eisley spaceport now. So you guys are
security there, and okay.
Yeah. So standard security. The transponder codes have been changed and checked out, so nobody is going to be looking for a hot ship on the radar anytime soon. There is you guys do still want to try to swing it by one of the stations to get a new paint job for it, but for right now, we were
going to do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that you guys can definitely do once we're a little bit further along, maybe once you make your way back to Mos Eisley after this mission, you can set up a paint job appointment for the Bandit 3. But for right now, you feel pretty good that with the transponders changed and it being docked at the proper spaceport and not just stashed away in a random location, that it's pretty safe for the time being.
Nice.
You guys boarded the shuttle pretty late in the evening, so you do have time to get a rest in during the shuttle ride from Anchorhead to Mos Espa. And by the time morning comes around, you can see Mos Espa kind of coming into view over the horizon. As the shuttle pulls in and you guys step off, your senses are assaulted with the sounds of pack beasts, slow-moving speeders, and mixed shouts of different languages all around you as people try to make their way through the narrow alleyways and cramped streets. The smell of roasting meats and street food fill your nose,
dinner.
alongside the sweat of people standing outside selling their wares. And as your eyes make their way across the landscape of Mos Espa, you can see tons of sand-speckled domed buildings and multi-level towers off in the distance. But where your vision ends is the miles-high crater wall that encloses the city of Mos Espa. You can feel the thrum of life in this city, and you can feel the opportunity that many people seek when they come to this place. Now that you are in Mos Espa, Rayla did tell you that you can meet your contact, Loza, in the Mos Espa Cantina, which is pretty close to where you guys have gotten off. The shuttle basically runs you to the Mos Espa spaceport area, and the cantina is probably only a couple of blocks away. So the fact that she's told you the location and the name of your contact, you guys can easily make your way to the cantina. Is there anything before going to the cantina that you guys want to check out? Is there anything that you guys potentially want to explore, or just head straight to the cantina?
Matt Lou, won't you get yourself one of those Kowakian monkey bars over there on a stick?
Fine idea, Zavu. I am quite hungry.
That nose is moving a mile a minute.
So Matt Lou, very easy to find. There are multiple street vendors along the route between the shuttle stop and the cantina. You pull over to one of the little street vendor locations. There's you can see multiple kinds of meats hanging there. There's a Ronto roast that's kind of sitting on one of the the grill. The grill plates. You can see a Kowakian monkey lizard on a spit just spinning above the fire.
Rotisserie monkey lizard.
Yeah, and there are there are bottled glasses of liquids here as well if you would like to grab a drink and a piece of meat. There's a Rhodian behind the counter here, I guess you would say. And kind of sees you walking up and eyeing the meats, and being a being of the galaxy and being around, you've picked up enough Rhodian to know that he looks at you and says, 5 credits Ronto, 3 credits monkey, 1 credit drink.
All right,
I'm definitely feeling some Ronto. If anyone else is,
I'll have the same. What about you, Matt Lou?
Ronto sounds good, but you got me on the monkey.
All right, that's 2 Rontos and 1 monkey.
And 3 spatchkas all around.
There you go.
All right.
So you
That's
guys,
the blue stuff,
I
right?
like the way this man thinks.
So bottle of spatchka for each, Ronto roasts for both Cert and Zavu, and then a spit roasted Kowakian monkey lizard for Matlu. That comes to 6, 8, 11 credits.
I got it.
Zavu tosses some credits
Thanks,
over
Zavu.
to the Rhodian.
Zavu, you are righteous. I shall give you some of my smack back at the ship.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
at this point I've fully accepted and probably trust Zavu. At this point,
Yeah.
we've been through a few battles. He's gotten us some.
We've had some scraps.
Why I am
scraps
asking
together.
him to do drug and party with Chief Matlu.
Yeah,
The customary way for Ewoks
Yes,
to bomb.
peace pipe.
Mm.
Big tradition on Endor.
I got the next
Maybe
one.
we'll do
Zavu.
that.
I got the next one.
Let's
Setting
see.
Are there any
up,
are there any weapon vendors around? I'm still rocking my disruptor carbine, which is okay, but
Yeah,
could be better.
Not any weapon vendors out here in the open in the public. Weapons are definitely a little bit harder to come by, especially in the outer rim where you're mostly getting cast off scraps. You're getting the pieces of equipment that may have been salvaged from other locations, and not really the highest grade of weaponry around here, especially not being openly sold in the spaceport. Once you guys, if you guys can get in good with some of the syndicates, potentially make good with the New Republic government or many of the other entities out in the galaxy, may be easier to come across some weaponry. But for the time being, there is nothing that would be easily available for you guys out
Keep
They
there.
got power converters.
Tashi Station.
Well, you just left Anchorhead, and that is the hub of power converters here on Tatooine. So when you go
I gotta
back,
go to Tashi Station to get power converters.
you can stop by. Yes, you can stop by Tashi Station and pick up some power converters.
All right, we're
so you
heading.
guys-
So we're heading to the cantina. Like, is there a name of this cantina? I forget the. Is there?
It's just the MOS ESPA cantina, the MOS
Okay.
ESPA Spaceport Cantina.
Okay.
Where you guys stopped to get your meal. You could carry it along with you. It's very portable to eat. Probably only about a block and a half away. There is a large domed building with almost like a saloon style double doors in
Cool.
it, with a lit sign above that reads MOS ESPA Cantina.
Do I notice anybody looking at us, following us?
Go ahead and make a perception check for me. So roll the D20 and then add your perception.
Find my perception. There we go. +2. That is, God, these dice are really hard to read. That's an 18.
18. You take a look around, and you are trained to notice people that are trying to be shifty, trying to stay in the shadows, and potentially stay out of immediate view. You take a look around you, and where you are now, you feel pretty safely that you're not being followed. You're in an area where it's easy for even yourselves to kind of duck and get lost in crowds,
Blend.
but
Okay.
blend in. But you can tell that you feel pretty good that nobody's following you yet up to this point. You guys were also the only ones on the shuttle coming in, so you didn't have any potential tail on you from the shuttle. And now that you're here, it seems like you're pretty clean and clear.
We do stick out a little bit having an Ewok.
The Ewok definitely does have a bit of a flair to him. Not a lot of those walking around.
Not a
elsewhere.
bad thing, but we do stick out a little bit.
As you guys
Matlu
approach the
forgot the
cantina,
swear word for fuck in Star Wars, so I didn't say it.
Dank Ferrick.
There you
That's
go.
the one that they always throw
Dank
around.
Ferrick, sir. Don't fuck with me.
Don't Ferrick with me.
Just covering the bases,
You guys approach the cantina, and as you enter, you realize that while Rayla did tell you the name of your contact and that the human male named Loza, there are a lot of human males that typically bum around Tatooine, especially in the cantinas. And as you walk in, the MOS ESPA cantina is wide and sprawling. It opens with the saloon style double doors and stretches out about 20 to 30 feet width-wise, and probably 50 to 60 feet depth. Tables spotted along the outside, the perimeter of the walls, and then also more tables spotted along the interior next to the bar. People sitting at the bar. There is a droid bartender that is currently handling customer relations at the moment. And as you walk in, it is kind of a bit disorienting just looking amongst the sea of people and not seeing any particular standout, anybody in particular stand out to you until you see Zavu. With your passive perception, you see a human man, similarly described as Rayla has, poke his head up and just kind of give a quick nod of his head and a pass of his hand. Definitely not enough to draw attention from anybody in particular or anybody that is, just generally sitting around the cantina, but is directed towards you. So you feel like this may be the person you're looking for.
All right, we head over there. Is he sitting at a table in a corner in the open?
He's sitting at a table, back right corner of the cantina, by himself. There are seats available at the table with him, and there are people near, but not near enough to make for uncomfortable conversation.
Okay. All right, so we walk over there.
As you walk up, Loza, you see he's sitting down, but based off of his posture and what you take in as you approach him, he looks to be about 6'2", mid-30s, pale white skin, which is very odd to see here on Tatooine. Most people that you see on Tatooine, it being a twin sun planet with essentially no cover, are relatively skin dappled or sunburnt at almost all times. Unkempt brown hair and brown eyes. And as you approach, he just kind of keeps the same demeanor, not seeming too, excited or not wanting to draw attention to you or himself as you approach. So you guys can take seats around the table around this person who you assume is Loza.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll just say to him, I believe we have a mutual friend.
He looks over. He says, yes, mutual friends we do have. Easy to spot out with the Ewok with you, but that shouldn't hinder any of our operations.
Hey, sir, who's this powder-ass joker?
It's true, Matlu, and he's got a point.
What's with Matlu? Hairy, short, so what? Me strong, berserker, rage bear.
This is Matlu, by the way.
He stands out a bit, but he's good at what he does.
Excuse the smell. Haven't been back to showers in a few days.
Matlu, I don't know you personally, but I know of you from Rayla. So no offense meant in what we were saying.
Remember,
but just wanted to state the obvious.
Chief Matlu, big time.
Chief Matlu at one point. So yes.
Thank you, Powder.
Chief Matlu, you do make a very an interesting figure here in these parts, but
I'm biggest Ewok from my village.
I'm sure.
Matt, I'm gonna ask you, Matt, I'm gonna let you decide if this is true or false. But I want you to make either a persuasion check or a deception check. Tell me which one you do to convince him that you either are or are not the largest Ewok from your clan.
I'm going to go... Well, it doesn't matter. Deception.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're really not, but you're trying to convince him that you are. Okay, so go ahead and roll the D20 and then tell me what you get.
Oh. Yeah, 19.
19.
Yeah.
He looks over
Suck
at you
it,
and he kind of like gives you a look up and down. Okay, good to know. And he fully believes that you are the biggest Ewok from your clan.
Definitely above average.
Chief Matlu never lie.
Good to know. And as you guys sit down and get comfortable, he asks if anybody would like a round of drinks before you get to business.
Chief.
Sure. We would love it.
Right.
None for me, thanks.
He just throws up 2 fingers above his head. You can see that the droid bartender kind of clocks that. And within a minute or so, a rolling astromech droid with a platter on top of their head comes up to the table, and there are 3 glasses of a brown, like a dark brown clear liquid in like shot glasses that come up to the table for you all to take. 1 for Loza, 1 for Cert, and 1 for Matlu.
Jawa juice. Matlu's favorite.
So you see Loza grabs his, knocks it back, and says, "It's always good to be loose before conversations around business, right?"
Agreed. My favorite state of mind is loose.
As you guys finish drinking the drinks, Loza starts to explain to you the situation that is currently at hand. So Loza starts off saying, the shipment in question that Raylis told you about is most likely going to land somewhere around or sometime around midday tomorrow. So you have time to look around, get comfortable with your surroundings, make some friends if you choose to do that. What I can tell you in terms of logistics, there are at least 2 other crews that will be making a play for this. We know that one of the crews is Niktos, and we know that one of the crews is more than likely mercenaries. Who they work for, up for debate and question at this point, but at the very least, there will be 2 other crews making a play for this.
When you say crew, how many are we talking about? Any idea?
The Niktos are going to stay lean. They don't have a lot of free members for operations like this in this area, so you're probably only going to be dealing with a few. The mercs are harder to pin down. We don't have full intelligence on their side of things, but we do know that as our situation is, medical supplies are in high demand in this area, and Fortuna has been hoarding them ever since he took ownership of the palace. So the way that I look at this is there's a few ways that you can handle that you could approach this, but there's one way you definitely don't want to approach it, and that is to do anything foolish within the city itself.
Damn.
There's a lot of information to be gathered in the city. There are a lot of contacts to be made. There potentially are inns that you could use in the city to give yourself a leg up. But any sort of outward violence within the city itself, and things will get messy very quickly.
That takes Matlu out of planning.
So go ahead, sir.
Do we know exactly where the shipment's coming from, and if we can try to hop on it before it even takes off?
So the shipment is coming through the MOS ESPA spaceport. It will be landing at the MOS ESPA spaceport. That being said, I do have a contact at the MOS ESPA spaceport that could potentially help you guys out if you can get to him. There's a lot of security, quote unquote, people loyal to Fortuna that work at the spaceport that you'll have to get by before you can get to my contact. But if you can talk your way past them, then you could potentially miss out on a lot of hassle. But it will not be easy to simply walk in and make your way to this docking bay. So that's one angle. But that really does depend on your ability to talk your way through some of these blocks. Because again, if a fight breaks out in the city, you may be in serious trouble. The other ways that Rayla and I have discussed this potentially going down is a little bit of subterfuge and a little bit of sabotage. All of the crews in some form or fashion are going to be in or near MOS ESPA when the shipment arrives. They have to track it out of the city because Fortuna is known to send decoys out to make sure that people aren't following him. This wouldn't be the first time that somebody's tried to bump off one of his shipments, so he's gotten very adept at hiding his stashes. But if you were able to get a read on some of the locations of the other crews, some sabotage may help you. You could take out their transports and ensure that they couldn't follow you out of the city as you track the shipment down. The other option, and one that potentially is the most straightforward, is to follow the other crews out, maintain a distance, and then swoop in after they attack the convoy and clean up and take the spoils for yourself and ourselves.
Let them do the heavy lifting, and then we kind of take from them, basically.
That is potentially one of the avenues. Different obstacles in each, but there are choices for you and your crew to make in terms of what you may think is the best way to handle this. Like I said, the shipment is planned to land around midday tomorrow, so you have some time to think about it, and you have some time to do some reconnaissance around the city if that's what you so choose to do.
And what is our cut, and where are these medical supplies going?
I'm just a purveyor of information. Rayla would be able to give you more on your cut once you make it back with the goods. But I did not have a hand in the money side of this, unfortunately. But, from what I've heard, Rayla has good things to say about Matt Liu and Cert, so I can imagine that there is some trust there, and compensation will be appropriate for the job.
And you're using these medical supplies for profit?
The medical supplies, some of them will go to families in need, centers that need medical supplies to care for wounded, care for sick and ill. Others may find their way into... So
Fortuna's been hoarding them and keeping them from the people. Okay.
For you can, if you go to some of the more isolated areas in Tatooine, you can probably notice, or you will notice, a more destitute state than you would imagine, even for Tatooine. So
keeping them out of Bib Fortuna's hands is definitely good.
Anything you can keep out of his hands is a good thing. So
looking around, do I see any Nikto or in this place? I mean, should I do a perception?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check. All of you, if you want to take a look around. Or even anybody else
watching us in here.
Yeah, if you want to take a look around, go ahead and roll a perception check.
That'll be a 14.
14.
8.
8. Matt Liu.
8.
8, indeed. You look around, you don't see any...
One question for you as DM.
Yep.
I have an empathic... Increase your wisdom score by 1 to a maximum of 20. What does that mean? Like, is that a...
So what is it one of your skills?
It's a feature.
Features?
But that's like on each to a maximum of 20. What does that even mean?
Oh, so that's probably... Let me take a look here.
When you level up or something?
Yeah. So what was the feature called
gain
again?
Proficiency, it's empathic. You gain proficiency on the insight skill. If you're already proficient in it, you instead gain expertise in it. You can use your action to try and get uncanny insight about one humanoid you can see within 30 feet of you.
Okay, so in that
okay, so that's
instance,
insight. Like that's like I'm checking on somebody specifically, right?
Yeah, so in more than likely,
that's not just a general thing. Okay.
Yeah, like an insight roll, like to get you could use an action to get advantage on an insight roll if you were looking at like a specific person. But in this instance, you're trying to like survey the area and see if you can pick out somebody who would
so that's
like
14.
fall within that. But yeah, for a 14 as the high roll, you don't notice anybody in particular. There's a lot of shady looking characters in this cantina, as is pretty, stock and standard with the Tatooine landscape. But nobody stands out to you. There are no Nikto in here from what you can see. So that side of the coin is missing for sure. There are people that are, wearing hoods. There are people that are sitting in, the darker corners of the cantina, but that's mostly because the cantina is pretty full. So there's not a lot of options for sitting out in the open. So he says to you, he says, if you choose to check the spaceport out, my contact's name is Clive, human, dark skin. He works with the docking bays, but like I said, you have to get to him to get the information, and that will take a couple of. You have to get through front layer of security. You'll have to get through any prying eyes that may ask for ship credentials, and
who was that? That was Clive. What?
Yes, Clive. Human
where?
male. At the MOS ESPA spaceport. So if you guys wanted to check out the spaceport and potentially get some information, or even, get a drop on the shipment, you could try that route.
Not the best place for a furry, stinky Ewok.
Potentially not, but spaceports have lots of different people that go through them. So,
what about transportation? Can you recommend anybody anything to? We're not going to do this in the city. We're going to follow this transport.
Yeah, so we've got some speeders set aside for you guys. And he just kind of like makes a motion to like outside essentially, and he says, as you leave, I'll send you a holo ping with the locations. So he'll he holds out his holocom, and then one of you could kind of like hold out put your holocom out there for him to be able to sync the devices for communication. So whichever one of you wants to do that.
Matlu too concerned about going to Madame Garza's. Someone else do it.
I honestly think the third option has the least risk. We can, if we are waiting until someone else does the higher deed, we don't have the risk of the unknown of what will happen there, and we will most likely be able to stay out of the city until after that's happened. The only real risk is just knowing what we're up against as far as whatever crew we're taking it from.
I like that choice for conflict high.
Wait a minute. The other crew might be doing this, thinking the same thing, or whoever gets there last, we might be fighting both of them.
Good, more bodies to hit the floor.
What if we're able
three
to?
Of us.
We have a Jedi, Magic Man.
That's true. What if we're able to wait it out though, and see if the conflicts happen, and then we're kind of the last ones to take.
Option one, too boring.
More information about.
Option
I'd like
two.
to have more information about what these crews might look like. If anybody has that, I don't know if anybody's going to know that, or if we can suss that out anywhere.
Yeah, that's the biggest risk.
Yeah, you guys do have the day to like go about the city and try to do some general investigation, ask questions.
That's going to be good.
And what you do know for sure is that there are Nikto involved here. So, at the very least, you have visually you have an idea of what one of the crews looks like. One of the other ones are mercenaries. Potentially you can gain some insight from talking around. seeing if there's been any sort of suspicious activity at vendors, places like that, or seeing if they're brash enough to just walk around the city with their speeders at their side.
Do we know what? I mean, this is post-Empire, so are there like what's the term I'm looking
remnants?
For? Not remnants. Not on but Tatooine. I'm looking for like the local law enforcement, basically, and what
Fortuna's gangs
look like, or is this a little more outlaw-y, or is it
it's definitely?
I'm guessing the Republic is not.
You remember those trooper helmets in Mos Eisley? No remnant here.
Right.
Yeah, so Matt Lou's right. There is no. This is kind of like the Wild West again out here in Tatooine. The New Republic is definitely still getting their feet under them, and they haven't sent a lot of patrols or tried to set up relations with Outer Rim planets yet, especially Tatooine, knowing that even during the reign of the Empire and the time of the Grand Republic, Tatooine typically stayed out of the galactic politics situation. The Empire didn't try to really build a foothold here, and it doesn't seem like the New Republic is quick to follow. What Loza did tell you is that there are security, quote unquote, at the spaceport, but they are on Fortuna's payroll. So essentially, the people. So
Fortuna is the law at this point, kind of.
At this point, it seems like he is running most of the.
So what we need to do is avoid anything that has to do with anything getting back to him, which could be a whole lot of people.
Could be
who want $1 or $2 for a tip or something like that.
So what?
Be very careful.
Yeah. So what he can tell you about what Loza can tell you about like the potentials of looking past just the shipment getting here is he can give you the information on the most likely route that the shipment will take going through the city and then leaving the city. So with that information, like he passes that along to you, and essentially says that for the transport through the city, they're going to stay in the most populated areas. Like they're not going to try to go into back alleys. They're not going to try to go into, lightly populated areas, because that's where they're more likely to get ambushed. They're going to try to stay through the city center until they get to the edge of the city and then make their way across the flats.
Do we know exactly what the transport is? Like the actual vehicle or means of transportation?
So there is, so he fills you in on that too, and he says that it's going to be a large, since the shipment is relatively large, it's going to be one of a few like large scale haul transports, like flatbed haul transports. So imagine a regular speeder, but it has a flatbed where you can stack things on the back of it.
Right.
Almost like a pickup truck that you would see if you were on Earth. So similar to that. And
what's a standard crew of that?
So he tells you that at the very least that there's going to be 2 security droids on the inside of the transport, because how it'll, like, more than likely, and this is a guess from Loza, is it will probably be enclosed. They'll probably enclose the like the bed of the speeder, so you can't just pop in and tackle stuff
These
off
droids
of it,
aren't golden, are they? Matlu worship golden droid.
As far as I know, no golden droids.
Good.
On the Fortuna
Matlu
side of
no
things.
kill god.
Yeah, he's confident that there's going to be at least two security droids and a driver.
Okay. So crew of 3 is like talking amongst ourselves. That's not bad. It's the other crews. It's the other crews that were really our biggest problem. I mean, to me, if we got there first, then we'd have to fend off everybody else. But I don't know. Well, we'll think about it.
Is there a possibility of if we maybe talk to the spaceport and figure out where they might be? Clive, yeah, and figure out if we can catch them right after they've ended their jump outside of the.
Now, Clive is an inside guy, right? We can talk to Clive about.
You can talk to Clive. You just gotta be able to work your way through some of the front layers of security to get to him. Okay. In terms of trying to meet them in space, Cert, your ship is back at.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have the space. We don't have the ship.
So your options in front of you are, and you still have a day. You can still try to feel out multiple options. Try to gather some information at the spaceport. Loza has given you information on the route that is more than likely going to be taken out of the city. And then once the shipment is out of the city, they are going to be out in the open. Like you're out in the sand flats, and they just have to make a run from the edge of Mos Espa to Fortuna's palace. So that is, in terms of logistically not being seen or not causing a scene, that is where you would make a move in that instance. And then in terms of potential for how do you deal with other crews, I think that Loza said right up front, potentially hanging back, once you clock the crews, just kind of be the last to leave, potentially hang back, let them assault the craft first, and then come in and deal with the scraps.
So ambush.
Ambush. But this being Tatooine, is there a place to hide? Are there dunes out there in between? I mean, assuming
Matlu has Mask of the Wild. I can hide in the sun.
There you go.
Wish you could hide that smell.
He's smaller to fit in small places.
Thank Farrak Zavu. It's not my fault.
Yeah, given the landscape, there are going to be dunes. You could kind of weave your way over and under dunes to keep eyes on where people are.
I'll have speeders. Okay.
You'll have speeders. So that's been set up for you guys already. So you'll have speeders. You'll have, you can distance yourself as much as you can. And it's not, this isn't I wouldn't say that it's a never traveled route between Mos Espa and going out into the sand dunes, but it's not going to be traffic like you would see on Coruscant and the Skyways.
So just so I have this, so it's coming. Where's it coming from?
So the shipment itself is coming from off-world, landing at the Mos Espa spaceport.
Another spaceport, or it's coming.
So it's it's coming into Mos Espa spaceport.
Okay, I froze for a second there.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, so it's coming off-world. You didn't really get any information about where off-world is coming from. Landing at the Mos Espa spaceport. Clive, the contact that Loza told you about, works within the spaceport and potentially has knowledge for you guys on maybe even the docking bay that it could be landing in.
So it's coming into Mos Espa spaceport, and then it's going out from Mos Espa spaceport.
Exactly.
To the palace.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, spaceport is where we got to go. Definitely, we got to suss this out.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was. Okay.
Boo, ambush.
And the reason that we don't want to do anything there is we don't want to do anything in town to cause any kind of ruckus, because everybody's under the influence of.
So even if you do go to the spaceport, there is still a possibility that you guys can get, gather information there and then still have to, still encounter the crews for a battle that Matlu is hoping for. But there is a little bit of information gathering that you guys can do just to potentially give you a heads up. And then if you get lucky enough, you may be able to avoid combat altogether.
That is unlucky.
That is
Lucky is kills. No battles bad.
I like to think of Matt Lou. He has like a bandolier that he just has not like kill notches on.
Oh yeah.
That he's.
Oh yeah, it's full.
Matt Lou lives to bring death upon those who deserve it.
Well, I think we should get as much info first before we try to have a plan. So maybe get some info at the spaceport from Clive. Talk to him. Maybe we have something he wants if we get more info. I don't know. And then maybe we can even get some info on the streets about potential things going on. Get some info about the gangs. And then once we have that info, then maybe we can figure out.
You two go talk. Matt Lou going to Madame Garza to stare at the Orange Queen.
Matt Lou doesn't talk. All right. So I think we thank Laura Zero, or at least we say goodbye to Laura Zero. Thank him, but and make our way out. I am going to the entire way to make our way to. We're moving to the space bar. Are you really going? Where are you going?
Madame Garza's, which is the local brothel here in MOS ESPA space.
Remember, in future,
not like it's Tyrion Lannister.
In future, she gets blowed up by Pike Syndicate.
You can't.
Right. Chief
Matt Lou has many abilities.
So Matt Lou, we will talk about you first, and then we'll get to the rest of the crew.
Oh, sweet! I actually get to split up. I like it.
So, as you guys leave, sir, we'll say that Loza synced your holocom to his, so he can give you the information on where the speeders are located. As you all leave, you get a ping quickly on your holocom device, and it brings up a 3D location of like a 3D map of MOS ESPA, and it zooms in on where you guys are now, so right outside of the cantina, and then it takes a quick jump about 3 blocks over to a pretty nondescript looking like storage shed that is marked by an orange decommissioned gonk droid right on the corner of where the where the shed is. So once you see that gonk droid, the door right there is where the speeders are going to be.
So we're showing that to Matt Lou so he knows
as well
where he's going if he needs, once he's done whatever he's doing.
I'll find you too.
I think this is a complete waste of time, but whatever.
Hey, Matt Lou, while you're at Madame Garza's, maybe keep an ear open and an eye open for people, maybe others talking about this job.
Matt Lou has keen smell.
Weirdos.
And this is just a suggestion. Maybe take a shower.
Why do you think Matt Lou going to brothel with full services?
Perfect. So you guys have your location, and Matt Lou, you know right where it's at. Like do
we have comm links together? Like yes. Are we able to? Okay, we can. Okay.
Yes, you guys have comm links.
Good luck with your talkie boys. Matt Lou going to have some fun.
Yeah, so you guys, like, all of your holocom devices are synced to each other, so you all have open communication between your holocom devices. Matt Lou, you make your way over to Garza Whip's cantina, and as you enter, you are just buffeted with scents of exotic hookah smokes and sweet fruits, and just in an environment that is inviting and relaxing all in one. They're
buffeted by the smell of a wet bear.
You are greeted at the door by a kind Tagruta woman, a very elaborate headdress on, purple and white skin, purple skin dappled with white, and a very beautiful looking gold dress that drops to her knees. And as you enter, she walks up to you and says, welcome, friends, to Garza Whips. How may I be of service?
Chief Matt Lou. Love you. Love Chief Matt Lou, please.
So interested in the girls, I take it.
Yes.
Twilight, I'm guessing.
She places a hand on your shoulder and begins to guide you to one of the rooms towards the back of the cantina. And as you pass through, you see people lounging about on soft cushions, smoking various leaves, drinking their fill, surrounded by decadence. And as you make your way to the back of the back room of the cantina with your Tagruta host, she throws aside a dark red and gold trim curtain. And as it closes behind you, you see 5 beautiful Twi'lek and Tagruta women in front of you. And she says,
Wowie, Maui.
Please, she says, please have your choice. And she essentially asks you which one of these fine women you would like to bed with. And you can see, so from left to right, there is another Tagruta, scantily clad in essentially a black negligee, has blue skin with white and gray dappled accents along her body, blue eyes,
Ooh.
and actually like an elegant like slight red headdress that adorns her forehead. Next to her is a green Twi'lek, in a very familiar bathing suit or suit to Star Wars fans, a golden made suit that covers only the essentials.
Stop right there. Matlu.
This is Scoundrels of the New Republic After Dark.
Matlu has found his woman.
Matlu gets a yub chub.
Yes. Red Rocket is ready for a green Twi'lek.
She stops you there and she says, "Oh yes, Kayla is one of our most popular."
Wow.
Matlu love Kayla.
She looks at you and says, "Credits can be handled after the fun has been had." And essentially, Kayla comes off of the line, comes up to you and your current hostess here, and Kayla comes up to you and looks down, touches your fur, and says, "Ooh, somebody needs a bath." And you are both escorted out of this antechamber and into a more private chamber where you can have your time.
And role playing. Let's stop there.
So, Matlu, Matlu, I would like you to make a roll for me. I would like you to make a couple of rolls for me, actually. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
What dice do I use for that?
So it's the 20, and then on your Constitution, on your sheet, you'll see you have a +3 to Constitution, but your saving throw is +5.
That's right.
So
here we go.
Wow,
the
nice.
roll.
Right.
Here we go.
So,
come on,
Kayla. Need that little blue pill.
Come on, Kayla. Oh no! Just a 3. Just a 3 with a +5. So 8.
So an 8 for the Constitution saving throw. But I would also like you to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check. Your choice.
Athletics is all about the stamina, baby.
All right.
Another 20.
Yes.
14 on that one.
And then +2 for your athletics. So
That's
16.
Right. Yes.
So, you guys get back there after your nice bath. You have a very good time. Is it a long time? Not the longest, but it is a fantastically athletic and tiring role with Kayla.
Yes, Matlu, you see the smoke coming out of her legs. Matlu, fast and good.
So now that Matlu has been squared away with his bath and his lady love for the day,
Now
we will
you
get
two
back
do
to-
real business.
And after all that, you put her on a spit and you roast her and you eat her.
So,
Cert,
now-
Zavu, I have scored. Literally.
We're
Scored
not
some
waiting.
info.
No.
Scored some
We're doing
info.
this while we're off,
Some
right? I mean,
Twi'lek.
I'll wait for this.
Please update me on the important stuff when ready.
Oh, you're communicating with us. Okay, I got.
So there you go. So now you know that Matlu has been taken care of, so to speak.
So productive.
So
For Zavu and for Cert, you guys are heading towards the spaceport proper, which is very close, as I said, to the cantina.
walking distance, or we got.
Walking distance. Yes, walking distance indeed.
So the whole time I'm looking for Nick 2, just keeping any eye out for any of them.
Okay.
And anybody who's actively looking for anybody who's sort of like, giving us
like-
a second glance.
Shifty vibes, potentially.
Mhm.
What I would
Especially
like
without
from
the Ewok. So
what I would like from you is an insight check, Zavu. And for Cert, I would like you to make 10. Cert, I would like you to make an investigation check.
That's a 20, right?
D20 and then add your investigation. And then Zavu, you did insight, so you added your +2 to that already.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
10 total.
19
19.
total.
Xavier, as you look around, people are just naturally shifty in this type of environment. Like Tatooine, especially at this time, there are scoundrels, there are smugglers, there are any number of different characters that could have a reason to be shifty or could have a reason to like be a little bit more obtrusive than normal. On a 19 investigation check, Cert, you're not specifically looking for people who are acting shifty just because people act shifty here. You're looking for things that stand out in terms of equipment. Like, does this look like out of place for somebody who would just be like making their way around a spaceport? And you do catch something. You catch quite a bit, actually.
Ooh.
As you guys are just like slowly meandering around the spaceport area and then getting to your destination, you clock 2 Niktos immediately kind of stashed to the west side of the spaceport with speeders next to them. And one thing that you do notice, like even you, Zavu, as you're walking around, like nobody is walking around with their speeders attached to them. Like these are very cramped streets. These are very like small alleyways in some instances as well. So like people either have come here without direct transportation or with like their transportation left at, in like a stash area parked somewhere else. But you spot 2 Niktos right away that are like hanging out right next to their speeders. And they're close enough to the spaceport where you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and be like, these guys are like, this is not a normal behavior that somebody would have. You also spot, as you kind of like make your way around the spaceport the long way, there is a very dimly lit alley, even here in MOS ESPA, where the sun is just above you at all times. You see like a small alleyway that is kind of coming directly, like almost directly behind the spaceport, where it curves around another building that is just kind of filled with refuse. And you see a drunk guy kind of, passed out, laying on the ground. But you also see 2 figures that are like sitting there having a very clandestine conversation. And you spot on the other end of that alleyway somebody who matches the description of the other 2, so they all look relatively similar in their garb and in their, like what they're wearing, posted as a lookout on the other side. The other side of this alleyway, is very close to a storage area where people often, store their goods while they're here in the city for a long period of time that they may not want to carry around, large packs, speeders, stuff like that. So you have one person that's posted up on that side of the alleyway, and then you have two people that are in the alleyway trying to be tucked away, but with a 19 perception, you spot them having
so the
a
lookout is at the
conversation.
front of the alleyway towards us, and then they're in
so
the
essentially like you would be on like you're coming around the west side of the spaceport, spot this alley as you're walking by. Their lookout is on the east side of the alley, on the other area, on the other side from you, and the two guys in conversation are just kind of like tucked back behind some overturned crates and barrels, trying to have a clandestine conversation.
So now, what do we know about going in? You said going into the spaceport, we're going to have to get past 2 levels. They're that levels of bureaucracy and just getting in there because we don't have a ship there and all that stuff. Would we know that? We would know that hey, we can't just walk into a spaceport. We got
so generally
credentials or
that in any spaceport when you go in, you just have to be what's your purpose? Do you looking for transport, something like that. So that's one layer, and you assume from what Loza said that there is another layer of Fortuna security here that's probably keeping an eye out for any sort of weird activity. So
nobody's seen us before. What are the Nikto, the Nikto that are by the speeders? Do they look like they're looking around? They're waiting for something? They're just hanging out?
So right now, from what you can see, it seems like they're kind of casing the in and out because they were by the front door, the front entrance to the spaceport, and it looks like they're just kind of either tracking movement of security comings and goings and stuff almost casing the place from what you could tell.
So those are those are 2 of our boys right there. Guaranteed.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So we get 2 separate
that's
parties,
2.
right?
Yeah. So you've clocked from what you assume, and you feel pretty good about this just based off of what everything else that you've seen in this immediate area and what you expect to see, that you've probably spotted the 2 other crews that you're going to be going directly up against.
So there's 2 Niktos. They're not talking into a comm link or anything like that. There's nothing that's.
Just the 2 Niktos that are by their speeders by the entrance, and then the 3 figures. You couldn't really track their race. They were in you could see that they were in dark garb, that they were pretty well obscured in terms of seeing their physical features. But what you could see is you could see you track their size, you track their general demeanor, and you see what they're wearing. So you're pretty confident that if you were to see them out and about, you'd be able to pick up their
and this trail. Is midday, or is it?
Yeah. So right now, after the meeting, you guys got here kind of, mid-morning, late morning. And after the conversation with Loza, having a couple drinks, you're stopped to have, breakfast as you jumped in. We're probably at midday here, so you figure that you got until about this time tomorrow is when the shipment is expected to land.
So, all right, sir. Just offline, not role playing, but we got to think. What's our move here? Do we want to know more about these crews? But if we were looking at 2 Niktos, they're not Niktos. They're not talking to anybody. They may be more than 2 of them.
Yeah.
Is that coming? Can you turn off your comm link?
I keep dreaming
coming through.
Good dreams.
Well, maybe we can try to Sorry, go ahead.
You notice there's 2 people down there talking, and you notice that there's somebody looking shifty, kind of keeping. I don't know if it's a good idea if we're not going to want to be seen anyway out there, right on the plains, or the whatever. So if we walk up to these guys and I don't know, I could play a few mind tricks on getting past the first one. the other two are going to stop talking. We have to figure out a way. Like if we want to figure out what they're talking about or hear anything, somebody's got to kind of casually just walk back there and sort of listen.
I do have I have +3 stealth.
Okay.
That is
So maybe-
potential.
Do you think you could maybe get up on top? How tall is like the building? Like, is there a way to like get up on top of something and listen down to what they're like over the
listen from
alleyway
above.
or a building or something?
Yeah, I've got 3 acrobatics, so
So yeah, I mean,
could do
if
that.
you guys want to try to
Good
get
idea.
some high ground and
High ground. Oh.
get the high ground and potentially try to listen in. Cert, you have excellent stealth, so you could try to, if you didn't want to go high ground, you could try to work your way, sneakily into the alleyway, get close enough to try to pick up conversation. Multiple different ways you can try to gain some intelligence on these folks here.
All right. So here's the plan, sir. You're gonna go around. I mean, sneak around. You're just gonna walk around, find a way up. I'm gonna try and distract the guy who's on the lookout, so that in case he, once you get up there, in case he's looking around, watching the rooftops, I'm gonna talk to him. So
that sounds
you
good.
give me a comm link. Let me know when you're in place. I'll walk up to this guy and I'll start engaging him, and we'll go from there. See what
Cool.
you can find out.
That sounds good.
Right.
Heading over now.
So we will handle. So you guys are now splitting off. As Cert, you look for high ground, and Zavu, you approach the lookout on the other side.
I'm holding until circuit. Does he have to do anything to get up to the?
Yeah, so we'll handle Cert first. So Cert, go ahead and give me an investigation check again to see if you can like spot an easy way to get like on top of a near building, by this little area. Yeah. So go ahead and give me an investigation check first.
9.
9, is that including your 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so 9 total. It takes you a little bit, and like you're walking around it's not necessarily finding an area to get on top of a building. It's finding an area to get on top of a building where nobody's going to see you, because this is a very like densely packed area. This little alleyway that you found, like even though there are 2 people in there, there's still like a drunk person that's just like hanging out there as well. It's just like too stupefied with alcohol to be able to tell. But eventually, probably after like 25 to 30 minutes, you do find an area where you can like scramble up. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but you can essentially get on a roof that is a couple streets back, and then you found a way that you could probably like roof hop to get to where you need to be.
Cool.
There will be some associated rolls with that, but you think you have an area where you can do it. So now that
You're
you've
being
spotted
very generous.
Definitely.
now you spotted more than anything, it's like with this, it's not about, like I said, it's not about like finding it. Like you can find it, but do you want to climb on top of a roof in front of a whole bunch of people that are going to see you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, if we're in, yeah, okay. In contact, like I would have said, like just keep stealthy. I know you're stealthy, but was that your stealth roll? I mean,
no. So that was just an investigation check. So like essentially, what's going on for you now, Zavu, is like you're kind of waiting for a signal from Cert, and it's like 45 minutes, and you haven't heard anything back yet. But you don't feel like there's been anything, like you do have like, the ability to feel essences through the force. And you don't feel like he's been ambushed. You don't feel like he's been attacked or anything like that. It's just like taking a long time, and it's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable for you, because you're like, well, I'm just hanging out.
If I check in with him on a comm link, is it heard? I mean, is it like something we have to like kind of keep quiet about? Like,
I think that you guys like using comm links, using like hollow comms around here is very common. Like people are talking, is as common as cell phone usage is in our everyday life. So, so after about like 45 minutes, Cert, you like spot an area. And you're like, it's not fucking perfect, like, but if I can get up here, then I can get over there to where I need to be, well enough. So what I would like you to do, Cert, is now that you found this area, I would like you to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check, your choice.
I'm going to go with acrobatics because I got more for that.
All right. So go ahead and give me an acrobatics check.
We've got an 11.
An 11. So you find some stuff, and basically what you do is like you find, like you make your way around to this area, and basically what you can see here is like there is a half wall that you can kind of prop yourself up onto, but it doesn't get you all the way up onto the roof. You kind of have to scramble to like almost like wall run to get up onto the domed area. And as you do, like you're like kicking your feet and you get up there, and you kind of like you kick the roof enough to where the people who are in this little domicile like come out and they're like, what is that? What is that? I'd like you to make a stealth check for me now.
All right. I got +3 stealth. That's good.
Come on.
Good roll here. Oh, we got a 20.
Ooh,
20
natural.
20 total.
20
20
total.
total.
Okay,
20
20 total.
Okay.
Oh.
So with the 20, like you scramble your way up here, you know that you were loud, and as soon as you like get your footing under you, you duck. So it's like a domed top. You see where this person's coming out. You quietly make your way around the crest of the dome to where they can't see you. Hang out quietly for about a minute, and you can see them go back in. They definitely look puzzled, but they, now that they've kind of looked around and don't see anything, they just kind of brush it off. So you've now successfully made your way to the top of this roof. I need you to make 2 more acrobatics checks to kind of roof hop to get to where you need to be.
I just remembered that I have a detachable hand that is good for seeing in places where I'm not welcome in.
So you could, what is the range on
So
your?
You could stay out of sight.
30 feet.
So what you could do then is basically you could jump, instead of making 2 acrobatics checks, you could make 1 to put yourself within range of your hand to be able to,
Cool.
like essentially look down. Does your hand, does it pick up audio as well? Or is it just video? Let's see.
Favorite option for those looking into places they aren't welcome.
So yeah,
It doesn't really say much for looking.
Yeah, let me
Probably
see
just scoping out, right? Like,
Yeah,
maybe
I
I can
was
hold. Maybe I can have the hand holding the holocom, so then I can just move it close to them, and then Zavu can hear it on the other side.
Okay.
Will it pick up the? Yeah.
Okay, we
Pick it
can
up, try it.
try. Yeah, we can make that work. So here's what
All
we'll
right.
do.
Come on, let's go.
Here's what we'll do. So make your acrobatics check to make the jump to the one roof that you need to get get in range.
All right, acrobatics. We got another 20. Total of 20.
Perfect. You deftly jump from one roof to the other, making no sound as you land. You get to the edge of this roof, and this is where you can deploy your detachable hand. So you hand your holocom off to the detachable hand. You turn on and you link to Zavu's holocom. And the detachable hand... Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm going to hold back then. It's approaching this lookout guy yet.
Okay.
There's really
So-
nothing to
Right.
it. He's not like having to duck and hide in shadows or anything right now.
Yeah. So the way that this is going, is you may be able to forego being picked up by the lookout. So Zavu, you see your holocom blink and you see Cert calling you. As you turn it on, Cert, do you just let him know like, hey, this is what's going on? You give him the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're going to be able to see and hear, right? Like the hands will see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the hand. So like with the holocom, you can see anyway. But for you personally,
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah, for you personally, Zavu, you are going to be able to see on like a feed on like your wrist,
Mhm.
like the video from the hand itself, and then Zavu, you'll be able to hear the conversation from the holocom end, and then also see like a blue kind of 3D holocom depiction of that. So as the hand kind of makes its way down, the hand itself, I will say, does not need to make a stealth check because it's not making noise. Like it is simply kind of like hovering high enough above them to where they wouldn't really think to look up there, and there's nothing indicating that it is there.
Is it like a drone? What does it do?
It's kind of like a hovering, like detachable drone, where it's like you can kind of send it off and it will like float amongst the way that it's probably intended to be used is like almost like, you know, you send it into like an area, or like you place it down in a certain area and it has like a video feed to it, and then you can like call it back to you. But this is a very interesting use of it that I'm more than happy to like role play out to see.
Yeah, it
see how it goes. So this hand is kind of just like hovering at the edge of their visual range, where there's like no reason for them to be able to like to be suspicious about it. And as it gets within audio range, what you hear, well, what you see, Cert, first through like the video feed from the hand itself. Excuse me. It's one human, and then it's one humanoid that you can't fully make out, but is not like a full alien species. It's like you're still about, you know, like you're still probably like 15 to 20 feet above them, and they are obscured wearing hoods, and it's low light in here. But you can see one human for sure, fair-skinned human, male. You can make out on their person. You can't see this Zavu because the feed on the holocom is not as good as the feed coming through the hand itself. But Cert, what you can see is like you see 2 blaster pistols on each of their belts. You can see some sort of like vibro blade on their back. So you can see that they're heavily armed. You can see that they're wearing like some sort of like simple armor. And one of them is human, and one of them is like a near human species that you really can't fully make out from this distance. And Zavu, what you start to hear as the holocom gets close enough is then like they're conversing, and they say, we know that there are 2 Nyctos that are going to be on this too, so we have to keep an eye out for them, take them out if we need to. So they are aware of the 2 Nyctos that you guys already tracked. The near human says, shouldn't be a problem. We're well armed enough to take out those 2 fools. So they're pretty confident in their ability to, if they need to handle the Nyctos. The near human says to the human, do you know of anybody else that's making a run at this? And the human says, as far as I know for sure, there isn't anybody else coming, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be ready. So they're not aware of you guys, but they're also not.
They're staying ready.
They're staying ready. And he says, if anything, our speeder should be able to outpace the Nyctos, no problem. So they've got a good read on these Nyctos. They know the type of speeders that they're dealing with, and they feel pretty confident about, like, if not just straight up taking them out, that they can outrun them. So that's the conversation that you.
Do we see anybody else in the alleyway?
Other than that, like, drunk person that's kind of just like passed out, laying at the other side of the entrance where you first clocked them, Cert. There isn't anybody else in here. There are people that are like milling past the, like, both sides of the entrances to the alleyway.
Okay, so the alleyway goes through straight, like through,
yeah,
and,
so
and you can see. Oh, okay.
So it's essentially like the most ESPA can't, like the most ESPA spaceport is like, you know, a pretty wide berth. Like it's a pretty wide berth. you've worked your way around towards the east side where the lookout is. The west side where you guys were, like both of these like are thoroughfares, have people walking up and down them.
Okay.
The lookout that you were clocking is kind of playing it casual, just kind of leaning up against the wall, but like clearly is like hanging out there for a reason.
But in other words, like if there was some activity, like real activity in that alleyway, somebody walking by would see it.
Yeah. If there was real activity, like if there was like a fight that's going to break out, or if there's something that's like super like noisy or obvious, they're going to be there, or like people will catch it. You also hear the human say, yeah, it's like, you know, all our stuff's safe and locked up. He's got an eye on it down there. So we should be good as long as, you know, nothing happens to the storage locker. So you've now tracked, like they have a storage locker, and you know that the guy is watching it wherever it is. Yeah, it's like it's near enough to him that he's keeping an eye on it.
Right. Near enough to who? Near enough to
the lookout that you're near. Yeah.
That's valuable info.
So you guys now know that like their gear is close. Not all of their gear, because you see them armed, like on their person, but their gear that they're planning to use for the run is nearby-ish. Last thing that you catch before they separate is the near human says, I'll pick up the speeders around, early, around late morning to be ready for midday. And then we'll track the shipment coming out of the spaceport. And then here we go.
Okay.
That was great. We got a whole lot of info.
So, yeah, I mean, your two, like the 220 acrobatics rolls definitely saved you, and the very high stealth roll. Like you had some good rolls in a row to get you in a position to where you can get some good info.
All right.
So, so that's what you guys pick up from those the mercenaries. So you know that's your other crew, and you know that the Nyctos are only two.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to this guy who's at the end of the alley.
Okay.
And I am going to attempt to affect mind.
Affect mind. Okay. So what affect mind is? So you don't have to use a force power for that. That's like a cantrip. We would call it
an at will. Yeah.
Yeah, at will. So what he needs to do is he needs to make I believe it is a wisdom saving throw against your force power ability. And let me pull up that sheet for this guy. He has a +0 to his wisdom. So he needs to be to 14.
Dummy.
Okay. Do I need to say something to him first, or?
So affect mind is essentially like it's like the
it's like I'm going to come up to him.
That,
so
but you can like institute an affect mind before you directly start a conversation. So like you essentially go in like looking to start this conversation and opening it with an affect mind.
And right, okay, gotcha.
As you try to as you like put this affect mind out, you can see that he kind of like as you approach, you almost see him like shake his head, and you know that it didn't hold. So he doesn't know that you did it, because on affect mind it says if it fails, they don't know that you tried to do it to them.
Okay.
But you can tell that he's not looped in.
Damn it, man! This is like ridiculous. All right. I'm just gonna say, excuse me, my friend. Looking for some girls. Maybe you could point me in the direction.
Garsif whip. That way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna walk away.
Okay. You see that like he doesn't really like linger long on you. There's a lot of people that walk up and down this alleyway. And he kind of like gives you a second glance as you walk away, but nothing that you would assume that he is tracking you for any reason.
All right, well that didn't work. Man, that thing is not very well.
I think we need to sabotage what's up in that storage shed. That seems to be the
we need to
incredibly
know where that
crucial.
is, right?
It's right next to him, right? Aren't
So
they like
it's-
standing there?
You
it's
can tell
somewhere
that it's like in the area. So what I would
That's
say
what I
is
was approaching. That was I was approaching him to do. So I was kind of trying to. Yeah, I was going to try and like just strike up a conversation, see if he's under my control, and then directly ask him about like any kind of things that he has hidden anyway.
so as you so I'll say this as you walk away.
That's fine.
I'll give you a shot at something. So as you walk away,
Rick just wants to make
like
this happen.
like he, I want you guys to have fun. So as you walk away, you see that he kind of like gives you a second glance. Like as he glances to you and then back, I want you to make a perception check.
Okay. Okay, that is a natural 20
Woohoo!
with a 2, so 22.
22. You see, so like, you kind of stumble back and you see when he looks from you back, his eyes dart right to one particular area. And you're like, okay, he looked away and now he's looking back to whatever he was tracking because he took his eyes off of it for a second.
Okay.
And you kind of follow his eye line, and there's an offshoot, like there's a lot of like intertwining alleyways and stuff like that through this city. And you can see that he looked directly down an alleyway that is like essentially to the northwest of where he is.
Okay. I probably should have done this to begin with, but action. This is an action, right? I can do this.
You can. So you're not in combat, so you can. Yeah,
right.
You can use your skills.
So this is uncanny insight about one humanoid you can see within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
So make a wisdom insight check contested by the target's charisma perception check.
Okay, so contested by
that's
his...
it. Wait a minute, you have advantage on attack rolls.
Yeah, so that is
ability
more of...
checks. Wait a minute, ability checks?
Yeah, so that is kind of more of a combat
insight.
thing.
Oh,
yeah, but like at this point, since you've already gathered the information and you're not like re-engaging him in conversation, what this would do is give you like advantage on an attack, which you're not in combat with him, or it would give you advantage on, say, like an insight check or
that's kind of what I'm doing is an insight check, just like to see if I can figure out like exactly what I mean. Do I know where he's looking at this point?
So at this point, you can see that he turned and he looked back down an alleyway that is like to the immediate northwest of where he is, and you can see.
We got a good idea.
Yeah, so like you can see, and like you're kind of like you're walking in the opposite direction of where he looked back to, but you can see even from your vantage point that you look over, and it is like a row of what looks like storage containment areas. Like you can see, it's almost like you would walk down like a storage facility here, and it's just like a bunch of doors that you would open up and store shit in. So you see that like as he comes off of you, he snaps right back to that area and just like focuses on like something, like you can't quite see where his eyes focus, but you know where he's looking.
That's what I'm okay. All right. Well, all right. At least we know approximately where things are. So I'm kind of like, that's not really going to do me any good to do like an insight check that at this point.
Yeah, an insight check from this far away and not having like full vision of where he's looking is not going to give you much more than what you just got there. So at this point, you guys have the information on these characters. Do you want to like reconvene, try to pull everybody back together?
Yeah, I say we're not going to do anything until after dark. I mean, I don't think we should make any moves until like late. I think we should go back, find Matlu, wipe him down with any kind of disinfectant that we need to.
Matlu clean and ready to murder.
He had a bath.
Matlu sleepy, need
So-
to kill.
Did he tell you we had a bath? Okay, good.
Yeah, he had a bat. So
Okay, good.
you guys, so you can reach out to Matlu on the holocom, and you guys can either, if y'all are reconvening, you can either meet him at Garth of Whips and just like from a shifty standpoint, you did ask where the girls were, and if you end up at Garth of Whips, pretty solid alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am gonna definitely walk.
See,
in the direction
Matlu's
of
plan pays off in end.
Yeah, right. So we also have to think about Clive at the spaceport, like if we can get into there. But I don't know if we need to do that immediately, because I mean we know who our competition is basically,
Yes.
and we know at least
Let's
for one
do
of them
some
has,
action. Too much talk.
So we told Matlu everything we found out, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys all you communicate
up
all of the information back to Matlu as he is in a haze of pleasure and spice.
No, Matlu ready to kill, getting sleepy. Time to fight.
So you guys make your way back to Garth of Whips. Y'all meet up, and from here you can. So now you have information on both the gangs. You have information on both of the targets that are also going at you. So as night, we'll bring it to here. So as night falls, is there anything that you want to do to potentially prepare for the arrival?
Are we rested, or do we need to like take a little rest?
So
or-
you guys had full long rests when you were coming in for the day. So you guys have like full.
We're not
hit
sleeping.
points.
I mean, like I think it's like we're basic. Well, I mean, I think we're going to do stuff in the middle of the night, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely available for you guys to do.
So I don't know if we should rest now and then go, like get up late. So I don't know, just like saying we took a rest. I don't know if that does us any good. But
Now, yeah,
like,
I mean,
okay.
Functionally in the game right now, you guys don't need a long rest because you're full on hit points and powers. And just narratively speaking, like at the point in the day tomorrow when everything would be going down is midday. So you would, even if you did some late night activity, you would have enough time to still do a long rest.
Well, I mean, we're not getting weapons. I mean, I say we reconvene at well after dark. Like, I don't know if time, I would say 1, 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Time wise. And we head right over to that storage area, and case make sure that, we're checking to see if perception wise, if anybody's around there, if that guy's still, can't imagine that guy's still standing in the alleyway, but you never know. I don't know what their plan is.
Okay.
It sounds like they're reconvening in the morning. So, I think that's the time to check things out. And then, I don't know, I guess we'll,
I do have some mines too that maybe we can leave there, and then they can set them off when they go and grab them in the morning to
well, I think
start
the first
there.
thing we have to do is figure out like which storage. I mean, there's a multitude of storage areas. So
Right.
like, is anybody a good?
so okay,
at
so what
lock
we'll
picking?
say.
Or- yeah.
So
go
what we'll say is you guys reconvene at Garth of Whips. You pick up Matlu. Late at night, you guys make your way out to the area that you identified, Zavu, as where this storage locker is.
Right.
So when as you guys all go out, so I want you guys to make a group stealth check for me. So just everybody roll stealth and let me know what you got.
Everybody. Okay.
Everybody roll stealth.
22.
9.
22. 9.
Stealth. I got a 13.
13. Okay, so as you guys are making your way across the city, like there's still like much less dense in terms of like people out this late at night. There are still a few night owls. Most of them you can all tell are just like stumbling drunk home, either from one of the local cantinas, stumbling out of some other establishment. But nobody seems to be like at least on your way to the area, tracking you, and you stay well out of view of the general public. As you come around to this alleyway, or to this like street where the storage containers are, you do see like, you know, a full line of like these storage like openings there. It's dark. Everybody give me a perception check. Perception or investigation. I'll let you choose.
I'll do perception.
3.
Jesus.
3.
Oh, yikes.
8.
8.
Come on, sir.
11 for
11.
investigation.
Okay, so it's
awful.
a pretty long, like curving type of street. You look down it and you don't see anybody immediately as you approach. So you feel pretty safe to like slowly make your way down the alleyway. As you make your way down the alleyway, you're coming along one of the curves and you're approaching this from the opposite entrance of where you saw from the first time. So you're coming towards where he was looking, not starting from where he was looking. And I will make...
I have dark vision too, just
Okay,
so
so you have dark vision.
60 feet.
60 feet. And I just rolled a check here. And his stealth check was a 6. So
Nice.
as you guys crest like the curve in this area, you see one of the clad members that you saw from the alleyway. And Zavu, you clocked that it was the lookout. Like you can see this guy and he's kind of like, he's in front of one of these doors. Like he's very clearly like pacing, like he's kind of walking up and down, and he's in front of one of these doors. We make one more roll for him. That is a natural 1 for those of you.
All right.
So he does not see you coming.
Okay.
So this guy is just milling about, and as like you guys, this is, like I said, this is a pretty long street, and it's a pretty long curved street. There's nobody, quiet. And it's quiet. It's quiet outside. There's nobody else around you. You see this guy walking. He's like basically walking like a 3-door length, but he's keeping one of them like in his direct middle, like where he's always like passing back along this one door. He doesn't see you, and he's being a little bit too noisy with his pathing. So what do you guys want to do as you approach?
Cut his head off.
No. Stop. Control your...
All right, I'm out. I'm going back to playing my game.
Control your boat, boy, sir.
No action, no fun.
Okay, so... All right, I'm...
Kill him. Do it.
Listen, these guys are
You
no
guys
good.
got the
We just
play
don't
for the
wanna,
last 20 minutes. I'm killing him.
I know, we just don't... Oh, God. We just... No, hold him back. I'm holding him. I'm actively holding him back.
All right, I'm going on mute.
What do I have to do there? What do I have to do there to keep him?
Matt, if you don't like... We're trying to like. There's multiple ways to play this game, dude. We can't make it to where we only play one way. We have to give people the opportunity.
They did. They've been talking while I was at Miss Garza's. What are we talking about here?
You were having all the fun. All
right, go ahead.
Yeah,
keep stealthing it up.
All right, so we could do one of two things. Like I can try to affect his mind. I can try to like get him to leave, and we can go in and destroy everything that they have in there, or we can take him out. I mean, it's one less person that I'm looking to kill people, but he's not a good person. You know what I mean? So he's not looking to do good things. Okay. But I mean, listen, I mean, if we're gonna we play this out, like Matt's a wild card, man. So
yeah.
What if one of us
go?
Like
I'm going to actively try to hold you back.
If Matt's going to attack and somebody wants to hold him back, here's what we'll do.
Strength versus strength.
It is a contested strength check. So Matt, you roll strength. And then who's trying to hold him back?
I'm going to try and hold him back. I don't know, sir, if you're...
And then you roll
Can
strength.
I enter rage to kill one of my own players so I can go kill this NPC?
You can. So what you can do is you can enter a rage, and it will give you advantage on your strength check versus Zavu. So Matlu, you go into a rage, roll your strength twice and take the highest, and then Zavu, you roll your strength to see if you can stop him.
Ooh, that's not good. That's a 4. And a 20.
Natural
No,
20.
18 and 2, so not a natural.
Oh, okay. 18 and 2. So Matlu is getting antsy. He sees a target in front of him. He takes out the axes and he runs full speed towards this guy. Zavu, you try to grab.
Can I do... I'm already doing an action, but...
Yeah, I said you've already tried. So you reach at him on his fur and you pull out a chunk of fur as Matlu runs off towards this dude. Now, Matlu, you have... You're unseen. You're unseen. And... So you have advantage on this attack versus this guy. So go ahead and make an attack on this guy at advantage. So
is there any round to this, like in terms of like movement?
This is a surprise. This is a surprise round. So he's got full
natural 20, so 22.
Natural 20.
Well, all right.
Natural 20. Okay, so Matlu, you rush at this dude full speed, axes out. So what I want you to do is you're going to roll 2d6 and then add 2 to what you get to that roll.
That's the normal die, right?
2 of the regular square dice, yes.
There's a 4 and a 1.
4 and a 1, so that's 5. And then that's plus 2, so that's 7. You run up to this dude and you slice him right across his chest. His armor splits, and you can see just dark blood streaming from his chest.
Victory!
He's not dead yet, but he is very gravely injured. This is prize round, so now Zavu and Cert, you have an opportunity to also to take actions
Kill
versus
shot.
this person or do something else.
Is he armed?
He is armed, but he has not like drawn his weapons yet. Like he's basically like he was like pacing up and down this alleyway, and a fucking crazed Ewok just ran up to him and stabbed him right in the chest with an axe.
Okay.
Yeah!
Okay, so he's gonna have an action. Me and Cert are gonna have an action, and he's gonna have an action. So functionally, what will happen is you two will have an action, and then we will roll initiative to see where action falls. Okay.
I'll take a shot.
I'm gonna do force blinding.
Okay, so force blindness, and that is that a Constitution save on my end?
That is, jeez, where is it?
Force blind / deafen. So force blinding.
Blind until they subtract each creature's hit points from the total.
You made a force.
Jesus, is this automatic?
Okay, so basically, what this is kind of like sleep. So roll.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, so roll
D6. Oh, 6d10.
6d10.
6d10? Wow.
Yeah, 6d10, and it's not damage. What it is doing is like it is seeing how much of your like his vision you are affecting.
Okay. Wow, this is a lot. Okay. Well, that's 20. Wait a minute. Am I on 10? Wait a minute.
So yeah, so the D10.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah.
Is like it's almost like a spaceship shape.
Yeah. That's 10. That's 0, 0 is 100 or 0?
That's 0, 0 on that would be 10. Yeah.
Okay,
that
so
would
that's
be 10.
30.
So the 1, 0 on the one that you're rolling
40,
is 1.
50, 60. Jesus, how many times have I done this?
Mm-hmm. So this would be your last one.
60 and 80, so 140.
Okay, so 14. So he's blind. So he is fully blinded for the next. So like for his next round. So
Mhm,
basically, like he's fully blinded. You like emit this force flash. His vision obscures. He can't see who you are, and he will have disadvantage on his next strike if he gets one. That is your turn. So, Cert, it is now your turn. This guy is bleeding from the chest profusely. He's been blinded by the force.
Put him
from
out of his
Zabu.
misery.
Yeah, I'll take a shot with the disruptor.
Keep it quiet.
Take a shot with the disruptor carbine. Okay. Go ahead. You roll your disrupt. So roll your d20 and add 5 to what you roll.
We got a total 16.
16 definitely hits. So roll 1d8. So that is the like diamond shaped one, and then add 3.
8. Oh, okay. We got an 8. Total 8.
8 plus 3, 11. You hit this guy right where Matlu hit him with the axe.
Success.
The disruptor carbine pierces through his chest. Acid starts to spread across, and he falls limp to the ground. So he is out and dead.
All right, action was the way to go, Matlu.
Sorry,
that was
boys.
quiet?
I like the smell of blood in the morning.
Okay.
Well, you can also have the pleasure of dragging him off into some dark corner.
I've
of
already
this-
chewed off one of his legs.
He is. Matlu is on the ground, chewing on the stump of one of this guy's legs.
I thought you people liked them cooked.
And
You've never watched Return of the Jedi, have you?
Spit.
They did jump on him regardless and just start biting away. So Matlu is chewing on the corpse, and as Matlu, you're chewing on the corpse. Go ahead and everybody give me a quick investigation check to pat him down.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. The hell?
15.
Oh my god. No, I got
12.
15, 12.
I got
1. Okay. Matlu, as you start to like make your way over this body and like chewing all the various parts of it, like you start to like you're throwing pieces of his armor off just to get to the skin and get to the meaty parts, and then as you do, you like fling his like one of his pouches off of his body, and Cert and Zavu, you see that a key card falls out of it.
Nice.
And like basically like falls flat on the ground right near your feet. You pick it up and you can tell that like this is the key to the storage locker that he was guarding.
Is there any other good stuff on his body?
So he has like pretty standard weaponry. He has like a cycler rifle that is like pretty stock standard, nothing that would be any better than what you guys have. And then he's also carrying a like a standard vibro blade. So if anybody wants to like jack a vibro blade, you can take that. He has the key card on him that you guys got. He also has a comm link device. No credits or anything like that, but he has the vibro blade and the comm link device. And you have a pretty good idea of what that comm link device may be used for.
Cool.
Right,
so we
so
can listen in.
ET phone
we
home.
take the comlink device. We hide the body.
Body is hidden and partially consumed.
Yeah, what's left of body.
And then we're gonna go in and we're going to use what we can use here. Take what we can use.
At this point,
we open it up. Let's open it up.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you like flash the card in front of the sensor to open this unit, and it's the one that you thought it was the one that he was pacing in front of and kind of standing the most in front of. The doors open up. You see 3 sand colored like sand stealth speeders in here. You see 3 packs, one on each of these speeders, and as you open the packs, there are thermal detonators. There are 3 thermal detonators in each of them. And then you see also in the storage unit, essentially like a tow along that could hook up to one of these speeders where they would have loaded the stuff up to pull back to wherever they were going.
Nice.
So you guys can add 9 thermal detonators. You have these speeders at your disposal. Within the bags is also just like just random assortment of things that you could use. Rope. There's just some like lock picking devices. So like some like trinket devices to if they needed to pick locks, and other like assorted materials like that. So you can add lock picks to your you can add 3 lock picks to your inventory. You can add what would be 150 feet of rope to your inventory, 3 things of 50 feet of rope to your inventory, and you now have access to these speeders. You know you have speeders of your own. You don't know the quality of the speeders, but you do know that you have speeders that were given to you by Loza and Rayla off somewhere, but you don't know if they're better than these. You don't know what the deal is, but you did hear them say that these speeders were pretty fast, and you can also tell that they are.
That's right.
Modified. You can also tell that they are stealth speeders as well.
Better than what we got.
Yep.
Okay.
Plus the carrier. I don't even know if he was giving us something to take everything back with. I'm assuming he was going to, but all right. So I don't know. What do you think? Like, I think we know where our storage unit is, right? With our stuff?
Cert has the location of your storage unit on his holocom device.
Let's clean this bitch out.
My only concern is like taking these out and like riding them back without getting.
It's pretty late at night.
Pretty late, right?
Yeah.
Pretty late. There's not
no
a lot
reason to think that this guy's a pretty big guy. Like they didn't think anything was going to happen. So I think we're pretty safe.
I mean, you guys didn't see anybody else around. You didn't see like nobody has like come around to check like what's going on. The battle was pretty quick. Like you took him out before he could even like. I mean, you essentially like axed him, blinded him, and then killed him before he had a moment to react. So
efficiency.
It was definitely a very quick and easy kill.
So we take the speeders back to our storage unit. We close this up, lock it up, whatever we have to do to lock it up.
What if
so there's no indication when they come here in the morning, except that their guy isn't there.
What if we rig it to
do about because he's just chewed a leg off, so we can't even prop him up as a drunk.
I like what Sert's saying. Let's use some of the detonators and rig a trap so when they open it, we take out some competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a mine from last time that
I have 2 trip mines, 12 detonators. So
trip. There you go.
So with the 3 trip mines, I'll say you could essentially place these right on the inside of the door.
Yeah.
And right as the door opens,
see ya.
They would set off and
I like it.
And
vaporized.
That would be an option there. So we'll say that you guys set these 3 detonators on the inside of this garage door and close it, keeping in mind that you don't want them too close to the door, so when you close it doesn't blow up on you. You place them appropriately, you close that door, and your booby trap is effectively set.
Did we leave any of the thermal detonators in there too, or are those mines good enough?
Those mines, you especially as a scout cert, would be like, this is more than enough to take out 2 guys that are like 2 unsuspecting people walking into a room.
I'm walking out juggling 3 thermal detonators as in a display of success.
Definitely
making us all laugh.
Juggling these thermal detonators as he walks his way through. You guys are taking these speeders with you back to your location. As you get there, you're actually, sir, what you did not know is that Loza also sent a remote open code to your holo device. So as soon as you come across it, the door opens and you see within there 3 additional speeders, not sand colored or cloaked, but of mid quality, not as good as the ones that you guys have just hijacked. And you see like scant materials there. You see Also, like a decent quality of rope there, so probably an additional 150 feet of rope. But they didn't give you any other, explosives as these guys had on them. So you have enough. Yeah, you guys have enough room to store these speeders in there, and still have plenty enough room for all of the materials that you guys had as well.
I'm trying to add rope to my inventory, and I'm not.
Yeah, that's
just use the notes section.
Yeah, just add it in notes because rope may not have like.
Yeah, I just type like it in manually, item. Jared, or cert.
Yeah, just put like 50 feet of rope in your notes section on your.
I think you can do custom item and just do.
Yeah, because you could do a custom item as well.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. I like that.
But so far, you guys have effectively eliminated one of the teams before the shipment even arrived.
Win.
Matt Lou was able to get a bath.
Win.
And some sexy time
Double
with
win.
A very, very pretty Twi'lek. Matt Lou has another notch to add to his kill belt. And you guys have very good information on the one other crew that is left for your competition. And you still have the ability to, if you wake up early enough, potentially get some information from the spaceport. So,
mission success.
That is where we will end our journey for tonight. Our crew deftly handled one of the harder.
I don't know about deftly.
Hey, it was fun.
Did we get any XP for that?
We all got to flex our muscle.
We did.
XP we will, since we're like in the middle, since this is in the middle of a mission, we'll handle XP after the next episode.
All right.
So potentially after the next episode, how things go, you guys will hit level 3. But
sweet.
The murder bear gets his fill in this.
He got
episode.
everything he wanted.
That was perfect.
He got everything he wanted.
Got laid to start. I was able to kind of nap, and then I got to kill somebody. So it's a success.
Too.
Got more explosives, more loot. Come on!
There you go.
That was probably our most successful.
It was beautiful
thing we've done so far.
most successful mission so far. Look at that. The crew of the Bandit 3 is starting to come together.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching this episode of Scoundrels of the New Republic. I hope you enjoyed our little mission as we continue to work our way through Tatooine here. And when we come back, the continuation of the Bandit 3's mission to steal the shipment of medical supplies on their way to Bib Fortuna's palace. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you